Right, let's reconvene the hearing. Councillors, everyone's here. Just Mr. McDonald's come over from Hastings to talk about emergency management. I just wondered if we could quickly go through that that item in the staff reports, and then not make a decision, but he can then go back to work. So might be the way to deal with that. So if you go back to the what is in effect the council paper and go to page. Oh, it's part of the submissions, is it? Oh, hang on.
Yes. The agenda.
Which one? Oh, it's of the actual agenda.
Yeah.
Easier to read.
So it's not 110.
210.
210, right, okay.
Ian,
Do you want to just use
you want
that?
to come up?
Come up, please, Ian, and let's get onto it. So if you turn your microphone on, please, and do you want to take us through this?
So I assume you've got my comments on the submissions? Yep. I mean, I'm not going to go through my comments because they're all written down. So it's just if you've got any questions of me, I suppose that's the.
So is everyone up with the page, place, etc.? Any questions?
In case you had any questions, councillor. The lunchy. Yeah. Oh,
Can I just ask
Just
the
what I need, another
process?
council lunch.
Can I just ask a process question on this? We still have submitters, because they submitted on everything, who are to be heard. Do we know if any of them are presenting on this?
No.
But we don't know they're not presenting.
No, but there are not many that was the main point of their submission. It was more as an aside, because they came to the end of the questions and that was the last one. Would it be helpful if I read out what a possible recommendation might be, and then that might stimulate the debate or the discussion?
It would certainly help, Mr. Chair.
Would be helpful.
My point is that we don't cut out anybody who
No.
wants to comment on this.
But we're not making a decision on this yet. We're just
Well,
making
we
use.
almost could be.
But we're not. We're just making use of Mr. McDonald's time, basically. So
Given the feedback that there has been on the written submissions, what is the likely recommendation?
So I've written down two possible resolutions. So it would be either that, would definitely receive and consider all the submissions and the staff comments. Then we would either increase coordination efforts around our Hawke's Bay Sedum group through provision of an additional $75,000 in 2016-17 and $50,000 in 17-18, or continue to support a less coordinated multi-agency model and make no change to the long-term plan.
Our financials, they have been based on the assumption of a increase.
So any questions in particular for Mr. McDonald after hearing that? Thank you, sir. Oh, you've got one? All right.
It was just the, at the bottom of page 6 and 7, it says you're only proposing a level of service that is required under the CDEM Act. I just wanted just clarification.
Yeah, no, well, what I was actually saying is, well, the easy answer to the question is, hey, we're only requesting this funding because it's what is required by the legislation, but I think it's deeper than that, and I think I go further into that in the comments. It's about a more resilient Hawke's Bay, a Hawke's Bay that can bounce back better after a significant event. So that's really what this coordination and what this extra funding is for. So, I mean, all too often people fall back on, oh, it's just what the Act says sort of thing. And I'm saying, well, actually, it's a lot more than that. It's about our people.
Okay.
Follow-up question on that, you're bouncing back. Would you be in a good position to respond to such as the intense rain events such in Dunedin, etc.?
Yep. Well, I mean, we definitely have, and this is where this coordination has to happen, because you've got a coordination between the emergency services and what's happening, and also between the council, who is responsible for the infrastructure. And in Dunedin's case, I think the infrastructure was probably one of the things that was found wanting.
And as does lots of places, but
Yep.
given this funding, you would be in a similar position.
We'd be in a better position, yes. That's my view.
No further questions? Thank you. Now we'll go back to submitters, and next on the list is Messrs Harvey, Wilkins, Nettlingham and Stone. Number 34.
That's part two, I-13.
Sorry, that's been, she's cancelled.
Part two, I-13.
Okay. So welcome, guys. Good to see you here. How it works is a timer gig here. 10 minutes is your total time. If you wish us to ask you questions, please give us time in your presentation. So it'll be good. Thank you. I'll kick her off.
Hello, my name's Russell Nettlingham, Director of Strata Group and main sponsor for Tour of the Bay, Hawke's Bay. Tim Wilkins is on my left, Snow Wilkins. We're here as keen mountain bikers and also concerned citizens about the state of mountain biking in Hawke's Bay. The current state is we have a mountain bike park in East Valley, we have some tracks up at Tomato Peak, but they're all, there's one there that's 25 years old and there hasn't been a lot of investment made in that region for some time. The way forward, we believe we need to create a high value mountain bike facility in this region, something that's of world status to attract visitors to the region. Tomato Peak's potentially iconic and international and national facility that we could have on our own back doorstep. Currently there is, Hawke's Bay is a cycling hotspot. A lot of people come to this region, and as you can see from that slide there, Tomato Peak is certainly a high use destination. We believe there's approximately 30% mountain bike usage on Tomato Peak. That's expected to grow. There's a lot more traffic up there than what there was 12 months ago. These images were taken from a heat map which tracks the usage on the park. Hawke's Bay's, as I said, has got East Valley, it's got Tomato Peak, and there's not a lot of other attractions for people coming from Wellington, Auckland, and for international riders. Jeff Carter's was actually New Zealand born, but is one of the world experts on building facilities, and he's been building them all around the world for a number of years. And he says that Tomato Peak has the potential to be world class with awesome views, great riding, and a village on the doorstep. Unlike Rotorua, which has a lot of trees, Tomato Peak and Hawke's Bay has got the potential to be even greater. There's a number of statistics around mountain biking. You can read those in your own time, but it's becoming huge. It's now bigger than golf in the States and in many places in the world. And we believe there's an opportunity in Hawke's Bay to benefit from this new trend, and we think we're missing out because we don't have the network in the region. The sort of tracks that we're looking about has been sensitive to the environment, hand formation in places, spectacular views, blending the tracks into the contours and minimising impact. And we believe that Hawke's Bay could be a world-class destination. So the proposed tracks at the peak is to design and build a track up to 25-kilometre circuit track with a number of smaller tracks within the facility that are suitable for a range of people, from children to families. That's the large track, as you can see on that slide. We're looking to take it from the village all the way up to the top of the peak and along the ridge line and back around. Part of the track's already constructed up the back of Lowe's property, and we're looking to close the loop and develop the tracks within the park. We've got 1,700 members. That's just in one mountain bike club. There's another smaller club in Havelock North. We believe that the growth opportunity is significantly more. The investment, I'll just pass this over to Tim Wilkins now, who's been involved with the council, Hastings Council, and he's on the committee that's been raising the funds for this project.
So there's been a working party formed, and what Hastings District Council was given in their plan last year was 50,000, and then they've given extra money towards it now through different means to a total of 191,000, and so we need 345 to do this project. And so we've put in about 50 ourselves, and so we're hoping for 104 is our shortfall. And that's going to get us probably about 45 kilometres of tracks right throughout the network. So is there any questions?
Right, Councillor Belford.
I'm looking at this map. What cooperation do you need from the Tamata Peak Trust to accomplish this, and where does that stand?
That's all been organised. So on that same party is Bruno Chambers, and so for the last year, all the work around where tracks are going to go within Tamata Peak itself has all been sorted. So we're just finishing off the last arrangements with the easements through some of these private landowners. So we're just nearing the conclusion of that at the moment. So that the one thing about this network, it will be completely a public asset owned Tamata Park, actual asset. A lot of parks around New Zealand are actually in forests, which they just have kind of little handshake agreements for 20 years while the trees are there. So this will be a longevity kind of asset.
Just following up from that, the Hastings commitment, are you aware has that come out of what they had earmarked for the centre up there?
No, none of it's come out of there.
Okay, so it's different, okay.
Yeah, so it's 120,000 for the Joel Road. There's a big section between Joel Road. So they're upgrading, they're going to create basically a track all the way from the village right up to the back of the private landowners. And that's through a little bit of obviously residential land.
Yeah.
And then it carries on up through up to the back of the Topeka and around, and then down through Lowe's. Yep.
The objective really is that you can drive into the village, park up, get on your bike, not have to really drive on the roads at all, so you're completely safe through a myriad of tracks, and then come back, have coffee, have a drink, that sort of stuff. So it's, although we're the purest mountain bike riders, we love it and we get up there a lot, it's actually more focused on those that are, well, it also is quite heavily focused on those that are from out of town, so the tourists coming in and being able to do exactly that. At the moment, well, we used to park up at another car park, which actually they wouldn't even be aware of that exists, so it just sort of opens it up to a much wider tourism.
Councillor Bevan.
Yeah, two questions. Firstly, have you engaged with Hawke's Bay Tourism over this?
Good question. I think so.
Uh,
I think we did when because we made an application through the Hastings District Council annual plan, which is where this funding originally came from. And when we were involved in that, we went and got support from Hawke's Bay Tourism,
We have.
Rod Drury, because he had already gifted a digger to actually start building a track network up there, which the 5 giant tracks within the peak were developed, and Sport Hawke's Bay also submitted in support.
And my second question, what's your timeframe? I mean, is this funding you're looking for this year, or is it over a 2 or 3 year period, or what?
No, we want to build the whole thing in one go. Yep. There's no point holding back.
Councillor Graham.
Thanks, Chair. So this track here, the one that Tom held up, that's an international standard. So you could have
That will be built by South Star. That's right up to
and
the
you
top.
could have an international competition on there.
Absolutely.
That's correct.
So and my second question is, how arduous is it? So could a 16-year-old ride on that track without all the gear, and could somebody, could amateurs ride on it as well?
Yeah, I'll answer that. I'll put my engineer's hat on. The modern method of building tracks now is to keep it very low grade. It's about 6%. So if you want to go faster, you can. So it has a lot of bumps and turns, as opposed to the track that's up there at the moment, which is built on about a 30-degree slope, and there's only one way, and it's sit on your brakes all the way to the bottom.
And that's the biggest problem with it at the moment, is that really it is for a particular level of rider. And why we'd looked at it developing from the village as a hub was actually to give that better gradient of ride.
So the good news is you could get in your car and drive to the top of Tomato Peak, and you could have the option of going down an advanced track, an intermediate track, or a low level track, and you'd end up in the village. So, yep.
You can't, got to go back and get your car then, Councillor Graham. Councillor Scott.
You get dropped off.
Thank you. The contribution from the Hastings District Council, is that from any of their leverage funding such as iWay or?
No, so the 50,000 came from the plans we said before. 120 comes from their transport department. And 45,000, I don't know where that comes from.
So it could be tagged from.
I'm not too
other
sure, yes.
funding.
I think that might be coming out of the reserves side of things.
Yeah. And maintenance?
Hastings District Council. They're going to look after the whole thing from that point onwards.
Right.
We're allowed, we
We're out
had a
of
meeting
time.
about that, yeah.
Thank you, guys. We're out of time. But thank you very much for your presentation and this PowerPoint, which is very useful, and we'll be back in touch. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Right, Mr. George, David George, your next destination, Napier, 27.